Hey everybody, JJ here on the BX4. It is Thursday, September 24th, 2020. Thank you for joining me. First of all, I just want to thank all my Patreons. I just uploaded a new video today over here. And over there we can get into some topics that are not really aligned with this platform. But check the link down below. That's going to get you to our homepage. And a link over to my other page where you'll get exclusive reporting and uploads and insights that I don't really talk about here on this channel. I'd also like to thank Robert for contacting me over there. He says he's now also buying now that silver has dipped down to $23 as we had predicted here. We were going to see a pullback. So thank you to Robert for reaching out to me over there. And we see here now oil jumped back up to $40, gold at $18.68, silver $23.01. We told you it was going to pull back to $23.24. Will it go lower? It's possible, but I'm buying more now that we have seen this dip. I consider this a correction on the way up to new all-time highs in the near future. Well, let's take a look at some other news. CNBC article right here. Economist Stephen Roach issues new dollar crash warning, sees double dip recession odds above 50%. And in this interview, he said just going to read an excerpt out of it here. The current account deficit in the United States, which is the broadest measure of our international imbalance with the rest of the world, suffered a record deterioration in the second quarter. The so-called net national savings rate, which is the sum of savings of individuals, businesses, and the government sector, also recorded a record decline in the second quarter, going back into negative territory for the first time since the global financial crisis. And Roach sees this dollar crash happening by the end of 2021. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to happen that quickly. But I do know that if you hedge yourself, you'll be protected against this. If the dollar doesn't crash, you'll still have some metals. The link down below to SD Bullion if you're interested. That's where I get my precious metals. You also help out the channel if you use that link down there. So just look down in the description of this video. And now's a good time, in my opinion, to be picking up on this price dip. Next, let's talk about U.S. jobless claims. Another 870,000 new jobless claims. I ask you, where is the V-shaped recovery? And it's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens after November, if they let this whole thing just collapse after certain individuals grab new power, or certain people grab new power, or another term, or what have you. But on the other hand, you have many people that say they're never going to let these markets collapse again. There's not going to be any deflation. Well, if you look at the cost of goods, the cost of living, there is inflation. We see, of course, oil recovered after the big sell-off earlier this year. We see home prices continuing to rise into record territory and beyond. Automobile prices, they only dropped for a short while during the lockdowns. They are now increasing again. Right, the cost of medical is not coming down. The cost of insurance is not coming down. For most people, this is an inflationary environment, but they're trying to say there's no inflation. And I even saw a report earlier saying that the Fed was causing deflation, which is just not true when you look at the actual cost of living for most necessities that U.S. citizens need. And make no mistake about it, without stimulus, this economy would already have crashed. So when it comes to investing, do you feel comfortable investing in a bubble? Right? There are people that are investing long. They are investing that prices are going to go up in the stock market still. And people are buying homes now, and these people think that the Fed is always going to be there for the markets, that there's never going to be any correction. They say this is a permanent bull market, a permanent inflationary environment, and that the Fed's never going to pull back. In fact, these people are betting that the Fed's always going to be there to prop up the market and increase. It always has to be more and more and more. It doesn't just level out. When the Fed comes in, when they prop up the market, the props have to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's why we see now here in this current economic situation where the stimulus and the Fed actions have already exceeded what we saw in the financial crisis. So if what we saw 10 or 12 years ago was called a financial crisis, what is it that we're in right now where the Fed needs even more intervention, more propping up of the system, more liquidity injections, more bailouts? We're seeing industries get bailed out. We see corporate debt being bought, ETFs being bought by the Fed, banks unleashed lending. I mean, this is absolutely mind-boggling to anybody that's been following this. And we're in unprecedented territory. And we're at a dangerous fork in the road right now for a lot of different reasons. We see society basically coming undone. The food lines, the unrest, the homelessness, the debt. Still, millions of people cannot pay their rent and their mortgages. Things are not getting better, folks. And if you watch the Idiot Box, they're not really sounding the alarm on this. They're talking about which stocks we should all be jumping into. Again, betting that there's not going to be any pullback, betting that the support, that this life support is always going to be there for the markets. Pretty amazing time. One more thing. Let's talk about the electric vehicle implementation here in California. So the governor out here says no new gas cars starting in 2035. Now that's pretty dangerous, especially when you see what's been happening with the fires in California. We know that on windy days they started cutting power in many areas. What are these people going to do with electric cars when the power company decides it's too windy, and now they're shutting off the electricity for 2 days, 4 days, 2 weeks, who knows? And now all you have is an electric car. Right? Absolutely insane. Leave it to California to pass this. And California is already starting to see a lot of people bail out of the state. I'm sure this is only going to increase as more of these restrictive laws come into place, more of these regulations. Now, if these vehicles were all solar powered, that would be one thing, but it's all electricity generated from the grid, and we know that electricity to be generated also causes pollution, and you're going to have a lot of people stuck when the power goes out, and all they have is an electric car. And think about if there's a fire, you don't have electricity because of the fires, and you didn't charge your car. Now you're stuck in a massive fire here, let's say in California, where millions of acres have burned, and you're stuck there in an electric car that won't start because you forgot to charge it, and the power company shut off your power. Pretty amazing times, people. Let me know what you think about this electric vehicle implementation here in California. No gas cars by 2035. Are you jumping into precious metals right now? What do you see in these markets? Are you still going long in the stock market? Are you still going into real estate because you think the Fed's always going to be there? Pretty interesting. Let me know what you think. I'm still waiting for a pullback after this year. I think it's going to be going down. It's going to go down hard and fast, and it's going to be wicked, and it could make our head snap, our neck snap, if it's going to be such a wicked pullback, in my opinion. But we'll see how it goes. Just giving my opinion, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. I'd like to hear from you down in the comments. Thanks again, everybody. Bye for now. Stay well, stay prepared, stay safe. Peace.